Hi, I'm Peter from the Property Club, here to discuss property investment strategies with you today. Now today is one of my favorite strategies that we're going to discuss is cash flow positive property. So I personally prefer buying cash flow positive property. One of my first investments in South Brisbane was actually a cash flow positive property, which enabled me to buy several others, and this is probably the best property I ever bought. So, strong believer in cash flow positive property. So, cash flow positive property, or CF plus. What is CF plus? What is cash flow positive property? Okay, so in a nutshell, cash flow positive property is whereby the rental income exceeds the expenses of the property. So when we're talking expenses, we're talking the mortgage, the water, the electricity, if you're having to pay it. Obviously, most likely, you have a tenant in it and they're paying the water and electricity. I know in some instances still today, unfortunately, the landlord is still paying the water, which is ridiculous, but it does happen. So, for example, if you were making $1,000 a month and your bills were roughly, let's say, $700, that means you would be getting around about $300 cash flow positive on your property per month. Okay, so what to buy? What to buy when it comes to property? So I'm a firm believer, what you should buy is land, because land does go up, and you need something on the land that's going to derive you an income, so you can have a cash flow positive property. So I always prefer house and land. If you can't get a house and land within the price range you want, always look to maybe a duplex or a townhouse, something with low or no body corporate. You need to keep in mind condominiums these days, they might start at a low body corporate, $70, $80 per week, but it can go up. It could be $150, $200, and that's going to eat into your income. So I don't really like condominiums all that much with high body corporate. I'd only look at condominiums if they were in a smaller block, maybe a block of 6, a block of 4, something like that, that could be developed later on with low body corporate without facilities. Okay, that's a good investment in my book. Okay, so good question, which is where can you buy cash flow positive properties? A lot of people ask me, are there properties out there that are not in mining towns? Don't always suggest that you buy in mining towns. Some are good, some are not. I would say that there are areas that you can actually buy cash flow positive property. And to help you guys, what we've done is an analysis of the marketplace at the moment. So done an analysis on Queensland, New South Wales, and Victoria. So I've done an analysis in a price range of roughly around $380,000 to $440,000, preferably house and land. And if we couldn't find house and land, we're looking at duplexes and townhouses. So within this range, we did find some cash flow positive properties. So our recommendations for Queensland are Green Slopes and Mount Gravatt. Believe it or not, 2016, we went through the list, we had a look, and we did find some wonderful, great fixer-upper inner city charmers in places like Green Slopes. Some gorgeous little charmers like Queenslanders and post-war homes were available, and they were getting a really, really strong yield. Some I've seen as high as grossing around about 7 and 8%, which, in comparison to some properties in Sydney, might be only getting 2 or 3% maximum. So Green Slopes and Mount Gravatt was a winner for me. Inner city Brisbane, only 10 minutes to work, that's high in demand and always will be. Carrara Gold Coast, that was one for us. And Port Douglas, which is actually a bit of a wild card for us. Look, it had, great properties, gorgeous beachside homes, but my concern here is the fundamentals, not having enough employment, not having enough industry. Now there is employment there, but is that tenant going to be as stable as someone, say, in inner city Brisbane? Not sure about the capital growth on that one, but it was a bit of a wild card and probably worth investing. So New South Wales, we had on the border of Queensland and New South Wales and northern New South Wales, Terranora and Tweed Heads. Wonderful suburbs. Terranora has big blocks, could be subdividable in the future, good for growth, whereas Tweed Heads, you know, you had some really good development potential properties there. So yeah, great properties within Terranora and Tweed Heads. That's probably my pick for New South Wales. Now for Sydney, believe it or not, we did find house and land, existing house and land that sold 2016 in Oakhurst, Sydney. Now this is my pick for Sydney, Oakhurst, Sydney. If you can get something, could be anything, house and land, even a small shack within the mid to high fours, then you're grabbing a bargain. A lot of people asking 5s and 6s now for Oakhurst. The last suburb in New South Wales is the Entrance. So I actually personally went down to the Entrance, had a look for myself, and yeah, great properties again. Funky beachside shacks still available in the 400s, believe it or not. Only an hour drive from Sydney. Go figure. Literally, Entrance, you could walk 5 minutes, you're at cafes. I had breakfast there with a friend. It was a lovely Italian restaurant and had a great time. So the last one is Victoria. So Victoria, we've got Point Cook in Melbourne there, not too far from City. A lot of new development. You can still buy a brand new property and depreciate a lot of you know, things with the property, which is great. So you'd need a quantity surveyor for that one. But my pick for Melbourne, for Victoria, is Greenvale, Melbourne, which is my pick. It's only about 20-25 minutes drive from the city to work, so that's high in demand, and you had some wonderful properties in the 400s. Okay, so the last property, the last location there for property is Dandenong. Dandenong is my last pick. And I am Peter James from Property Club. Thanks for watching, and please do subscribe. Thanks.